The 12th of January 2024 is coming near dark, all jobs done, water back to normal, and the time soon to have lunch with some friends. So our Irish government is in the course of being formed. We had an election on the 29th of November, and Fine Gael didn't get a majority, Fianna Fáil didn't get a majority, and Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil between them didn't have a majority. So they need three really other TDs. Now there's only one Green. Now the Greens had 12 seats the last time and they lost all to one. And that one that got elected, Roderick O'Gorman, was my fault. I ran for election for my party. I did the best I could. But really, when I think of it now, I might have been better off trying to go door to door canvassing against him. I'm really the only person in the whole world will do that. So I think that for a future reference, that's the job, put him out again. So the thing is that anyone who joins with the Irish government will be decimated at the next election. The Progressive Democrats learned that the hard way, and so did all the other parties. Tony Gregory, well, he died, and several other politicians had their career smashed when they went into government with the Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael crowd. So it looks like there's a team of independents now, Independent Ireland and other independence TDs, going to form something. I don't know how they'll go about it. A big thing was climate change. As I understand it, Fine Gael is obsessed with climate change taxes, and they're deeply unpopular. See, even the Greens got landed out over them. Now, that's the thing. I think Fianna Fáil's not as determined. So the big portfolio, if anyone is to get it, would be energy, and decimate that whole thing if you can get away with it. Now, if on the other hand, the independents go into government and have a few ministries and they go climate change, go woke, well then I'd say they'll be totally decimated, because the vote for Fianna Fáil is a core vote. It's really down to as far as it can go, and Fine Gael's down to the lowest it can go. They're both on about 20% or roughly that. They won't ever pick up again. I don't think they'll ever pick up. There is no history of parties picking up in Ireland, and Fine Gael under Simon Harris is a contemptible crowd of wimps. Idiots really, but they're a wee bit less idiotic than the rest. Fianna Fáil used to be fairly sensible. They'd take advice from business people and all of that. I don't know will they do it anymore. But you see, the business people will tell them how to build hospitals and build houses. But you see, they have to try and build them and comply with climate change. And that's an impossibility, legally and physically. And the problem is that we're heading headlong into God knows what, with an energy crisis, an inflation crisis. The prices are going up at an astronomical rate. It looks to me that no matter what Trump does in America, inflation is going to skyrocket. I believe the euro is in such trouble that they won't get bondholders to invest, and Britain is in such trouble. Now, the Americans might pull out of this. I don't think the Europeans will. So you're going to be in government, if you're independents or you're going in with the two parties, you're going to be in government at a time of great decline. And the question is, what will the voters do? Now, my job is to tell the voters what's going to be offered. What's going to be offered is the left, the socialist, the cultural Marxist, telling you that, oh, you're poor, we're the only one for you, your father was poor, you got a bit better on, now we've collapsed the economy on you, and who are they going to vote for? And it's crucial that they don't vote for left-wing candidates. Left-wing candidates are worse than Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. It doesn't work. Sinn Féin has got no further. Their vote is down a bit, because people are beginning to see that offering people poverty is not what they want. People who were poor once want to be out of poverty, and they want to be well off, and they don't want to be begging politicians to give them a living. They want good services, good retirement schemes and all of that, but they don't want charity. But what's being pushed with Europe and Ireland is the charity you're going to get is not for you, it's for the climate. It's for the climate. And China's burning more coal now than ever. Russia's burning it, and India's burning it. And very soon the United States will be burning it. So we're looking at a poverty-stricken situation, and we're looking at the fact that the Irish people did not support my party, the Irish Freedom Party, in sufficient numbers. They did a bit, but not in the numbers, or the National Party, or parties that would fix the migration problem and all that. Now, one of the reasons why migration is craved is that they want cheap workers, which these people coming in are not necessarily cheap workers. But the other thing they want is they want people to vote for them, because if people realise what they're up to and they see the like of the Greens, they won't vote for them again. People innocently went out and voted for the Greens in the election before the last. Put in 12 of them. And they did what they said on the tin, and when that was shown to the people, they pulled their votes all and only elected one, and he barely got in. So that'll tell you there's no votes in this. And then you have the likes of me scandalising the climate movement and scandalising the left all the time. And you have Trump there, and people see this, and they see parties like Alternative for Deutschland and all that, and they see Elon Musk facing down the British Prime Minister, where there's girls now coming out saying we were raped and nothing was done about it. So righteousness comes into it as well. I don't like to mention the fires in California. There are religious people and Indian tribes, Native American tribes, pointing out that it's been their prophecies for years that people would worship money, that they'd worship wealth and wealth alone. And there's no doubt the American average citizen worships wealth. All he ever thinks about is making more money. And it's said then in the scriptures and in the Indian tradition that God will send down fire and brimstone and he will burn the whole place. Now, I'm not going that far, but at the same time, there's something very wrong when all of that wealth around Los Angeles and all of those areas, when all of that wealth was failed to have anyone to represent them to provide basic fire services. The fact is there was nobody keeping an eye on it. Even if it wasn't the fire brigade, even if it wasn't the woke mayor and all that, you'd think that someone on behalf of the citizens or the residents association would check an odd fire hydrant or have some wee bit of input into it. They didn't give a damn. All they worried about was making money and fretting over the climate and all of this. And now you see their houses are gone. It will have significant financial shocks. But what they're going to try and do is they're trying to push this over on me and take my cows. They're going to say, this is climate change. It's not their incompetence. It's not the fact that they went to the trouble and painted the fire hydrants LBGPQ colours, rainbow colours, and had no water in them. Oh no, that's not the trouble. The trouble is climate change. That's it. And this is going to be pushed hard if anyone is prepared to swallow it when it comes to the election time. When in fact what's happening there is 40 million people moved into the southwest of America, relying on the Hoover Dam and the Colorado River, and they had 40 million where it could only sustain 1.5 million when the native tribes were living there. And they thought they could go on as if there was no tomorrow, and now they're learning the hard way. It's not that simple. They had the most beautiful climate you could ever imagine. It was really beautiful. It was so pleasurable to live there. But they were actually better if they had to live in Iceland, in a way. Although they say they'll rebuild. It's terrible destruction. Do you get me point? This is all down to incompetence. What happened in California was reality met the wokes. Reality met the dumbbells. What's happening in Ireland with Eamon Ryan's big engines and all these other things that he couldn't get across the bridges is reality met him. And it seems you can't get reality pushed into our government, and I doubt very much if it will be pushed into the new government. They're dopes, and that's the situation. It's unbelievable, and that's why the SEA directive is so important. It forces an engineering study, an environmental study on all big plans and programs, and they simply will not do it. They rely instead on spin from RTE. Okay, that's less than 10 minutes. We'll see you soon, folks. It's really is reality meeting dumbbells. But how do you fix dumbbells? You can't legislate for an Ramadan. I don't have the answer to that. And when you see the teachers in 2 states in America don't need to be able to read, write or do maths, and they're going to be teaching the next generation here, you can see where it's going. Thank you very much. Bye.